that's always mad at you, and whose team you'll never be good enough to be on. That's what it's always going to seem like. Because that's the way the world works. The world loves you as long as you do what they need, and they love you until you mess up. And it just seems like God would be that way, right? Because maybe you're not like me, but I'm a big dork over here, right? And if there's a way to mess this Christian thing up, I've cracked the code. I bump my head on life every day. And that's what gives me hope for everybody, because I get up in the morning and I think, man, if Jesus can save me, he can save anybody. That's awesome, right? But even if as a believer, you're not in the Word for yourself, you're toast, because logic starts taking over and guilt starts taking over. John chapter 21 is your homework for tonight. I'm telling you, you need to read it. I'm going to pray. You get a headache if you don't read it. I'm just serious. I don't know if it'll work, but I will pray it. In John chapter 21, it's one of the coolest stories ever, because you see the miraculous catch of fish. You know, when the fish are, the boats are so full of fish, they're almost sinking. I don't just like that, but you call me a redneck right now, you think, it's fishing. No. It's my favorite story because it happens twice. See, the first time it happens, Jesus walks up to these guys that are on the shore, and they've just had the worst day ever fishing. They haven't caught anything. He says, hey guys, you catch anything? Like they needed to hear that, right? No, I haven't caught anything. He says, hey, cast your nets on the other side of the boat and you'll catch fish. Have you ever had that day at work? Oh, okay. Because all the fish are hiding on this side. Where have you been all of our careers? Please tell us more, right? So this seems totally upside down to these fishermen. But it's like Peter gets it somewhere in his head. He's like, this is bigger than fishing, what's going on right now. This is bigger than what makes sense to me. I need to do what this guy says. Have you ever had that moment? So he casts his nets on the other side of the net, on the other side of the boat, and has the biggest payday of his career, right? That's where some of us would be like, yo, Jesus, tomorrow, same time. Right? That's what the TV preachers say, right? Sorry. So, I don't know who that was for. Somebody. So, they leave the biggest payday of their career behind and follow Jesus. And Peter's whole world is turned upside down. Every rule he ever knew was messed up by this Jesus guy. Blind people aren't blind anymore. Deaf people aren't deaf anymore. Dead people are not dead anymore. Jesus messed up every funeral he ever went to. And then, just for fun, Jesus takes Peter back out to that water on a boat. That water that used to decide whether his family was going to have food. He says, I want you to walk on that water just to remember that I control that. His whole world is turned upside down. The problem is what Peter's most known for is the big bad mistakes that he made. He denied he even knew who Jesus was 3 times. When Jesus needed him the most, Jesus was being drugged through town in the middle of the night, going through trials so they could try to get him so he could kill him. Peter's saying, I don't even know who this guy is. And in one of the Gospels, it actually says Jesus and Peter locked eyes at one point during that. Can you imagine how they had to feel? Then John chapter 21 happens. Jesus has risen from the dead, just like he said he was going to. He's killed death, mine and yours. And he's walking around talking with the disciples. And Peter, seeing Jesus face to face after he's risen, says the weirdest thing in the New Testament. I'm going fishing. A lot of us in this room know what that verse means, don't we? It's like Peter saw all that happened. He remembered all he'd been through. He remembered what he just did. And he thought, that was my shot. I tried and I failed. I mean, I gave him everything I had. I can't be any more in than I was. Man, I was jumping out in front of soldiers. I was that sold out. But when he needed me, I totally choked. I don't know how to be closer to him than that. I don't think I can ever be that close again. So as good as it was, that was then, and this is now. I can't do any better than that. So he goes back to his old life, and he's out fishing in a boat. And while he's fishing, he hears something from the shore. Hey, you guys catching anything? No, I haven't caught anything all day. Cast your nets on the other side of the boat, and you'll catch fish. It's the second time. And they cast their nets in, and they pull in more fish than the boats can hold, and the boats are starting to sink. His friend turns to him and says, Peter, that's the Lord. Peter was so far away in his head, he couldn't even tell then it was Jesus. Some of you need to be that friend that says to your friend, this is God talking to you right now. Peter throws something on, jumps in the water, and swims a football field distance to get back to the shore where Jesus is. And the question I have for you, if you're not in the Word, and you're having to make up God in your head, what would Jesus be doing on the beach for you? For a lot of us in this room, the Jesus on the beach in our head has got a scroll with all of our mistakes written on it. Hey, Peter. How you doing, buddy? Why don't we talk about the last few days? I got a couple issues, right? Is that what happens in John 21? The Jesus in your head is one way, but the Jesus in the Word has made him breakfast on the beach. The Jesus in the Word has served the one who failed him, serving and loving the one who betrayed him, and he brings him back into the family. Letting him catch those fish again was a major statement to Peter, and it's a major statement to you. God is saying, I love you so much that we will start this all over again if we have to. We will go all the way back to the start. We will walk through all of it again. I never loved you because of what you did for me. I never stopped loving you because of what you stopped doing for me. I love you because I love you. Your past was then, but this is now. Amen?